Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Midweek LIFT. I am so excited to be with you guys this afternoon. This is going to be a jam-packed, short bit of time that we give with you to get you some information, to just give you a little boost for the rest of your week. Because when we come to church, we go to church on Sunday, and if you're like me, you got to do better. I got to do better sometimes. When you come to church on Sunday and you hear a word and you want to listen to that word, but life gets at you and things just keep going and it gets busy and busy and busy, and you need check-in points like this to stop you, to say, hey, no, the devil comes to take the word that was heard. So I need to consistently be hearing words that will edify me and build me up, like things at Midweek LIFT, so that I'm not going 4 or 5 days without hearing the word. So I encourage you, let's take this moment right now to get settled in, get strapped in. Don't go anywhere. This is your time of refilling and refreshing. If you don't know who I am, I'm Minister Derrick. I'm the creative director here at Lift City Church. And I just have a few announcements I'm going to talk about with you. And then we're going to get started with a jam-packed word as part of our March Mentorship series. How many people have been enjoying our March Mentorship series? It's been amazing. Our teachers, Dr. Dee taught last week, incredible. Pastor Dwayne, Pastor Tim and Breland, Pastor Debbie. These people have been dropping for real nuggets on you so that you can learn how to grow in your mentorship, because your mentorship is really just a branch of your servant leadership. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So I kind of got a little ahead of myself right there, but I'm going to be talking about how mentoring and walking as a mentor is just another branch of your servant leadership and how to be better servant leaders. But before I do that, I want you to get with these announcements on us real quick. First off, if you don't know our mission here at Lift City Church is we exist to lift people into their next level relationship with Christ. That is what we do. If you ask us how we do that by loving unconditionally, living generously, leading passionately, and lifting intentionally. That is what we're about. If you're in the comments, y'all know how I am, LCC family. You go ahead and put in the comments, drop that stuff, put love unconditionally, put live generously, put lead passionately, put lift intentionally. Drop that and let people know that you're in agreement with what I said, that's how you're living at home, and that's how you're being as a part of our Lift City Church family. If this is your first time tuning into the broadcast, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is our Midweek LIFT, hour-long, jam-packed midweek service, but we also have our Sunday services that are at 10 a.m. On Easter. It'll be at 8 and 10 a.m., but normally it's at 10 a.m. on Sundays, and then we have a bunch of other events that I'm going to get to in a moment. But I want you, if you are watching, to share this broadcast right now. Take this moment and share this broadcast. Don't go another moment. Let people know that you are willing to share Christ with them by sharing this broadcast. It's that simple. We ask people what the Great Commission is. The Great Commission is to go throughout the world and spread the gospel of Jesus. And this is a very simple way you can do that. You can just click share right now, and that is your way of sharing Christ today by sharing this broadcast. If it's your first time, let us know in the comments. Put a number 1. Just let us know, hey, it's my first time here, by putting that number 1 so that we can greet you and say, hey. If it's your first time and you want to stay connected with us, this is what I need you to do. I need you to text CONNECTME, all one word, to the number that's on your screen right now. CONNECTME, all one word, to the number that's on your screen. That way you can stay connected to us, you stay a part of our community, and you can receive information about all the amazing things that we're doing here at Lift City Church. It's imperative that you stay locked in and you stay connected, because I promise you, we have so many amazing things coming up. You ain't gonna want to miss what we're doing here. That's all I'm saying. And if you're part of our family, you can put that in the chat. Again, strap in. I guarantee you're not going to want to miss the amazing things that we're doing here at Lift City Church. So you want to text Connect Me to the number that's on the screen. We are continuing virtual services until next week, but the beginning of that week is Rise and Return week, which starts this weekend. Woo! If you're ready for Rise and Return, let us know you're ready. I am excited about Rise and Return week. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm going to give you information about all of our Rise and Return events, but this weekend, particularly this Saturday, is our at 8:30 a.m. is our Embrace the Space neighborhood cleanup. That's a part of the neighborhood cleanup that's happening. But even better than that, or just to go alongside with that, I want you to check out this video that has to do with our worship night. Just take a moment, strap in, and check this out.
Y'all ready for this?
What's going on, Lift City Church family? Rise and Return Week is almost here. It's just around the corner, and we're inviting you out to all of our Rise and Return Week events. But this video is particularly about our worship night on Sunday, March 28th, Palm Sunday, here at the church, 6 p.m. We want you to be in place. It's going to be an amazing time of worship, fun, getting in the presence of God with your community, with your family, with your friends. So I want you to register right now. Don't wait. www.liftcitychurch.org. Get in this building because it's going to be limited space, and you do not want to miss the encounter with God that's going to happen here on Palm Sunday at 6 p.m. Get in this space. Y'all ready for this? That is this Sunday. Woo! I'm so hyped. Our Rise and Return Lift City Night of Worship, our first night of worship, is this Sunday. So you don't want to miss it. We have so many Rise and Return events, but you want to go on to www.liftcitychurch.org, our church website. You can click on the events tab, or right on the main page, it says register for Rise and Return Week. You want to go on and let us know that you're going to be in the building. We're not necessarily turning anyone away, but we need people to register so that we can prepare how to socially distance. And let me be real, if we do reach a certain number, we are going to have to turn people away because we're following our COVID-19 guidelines. Even though they're not a hardcore restriction anymore, we just want to be safe, and we want to care about your safety. So please register. Let us know you're going to be in the building so that we can adequately prepare for you by going to www.liftcitychurch.org. Also, all the other events on there, Embrace the Space. And then next week is our Community Day, Lift City Church Community Day, which is on April 3rd. That's going to be incredible. The one thing I want to pull out about our Community Day, other than the vendors and the food trucks, is that we are doing COVID-19 vaccinations. This is not a proponent to do it or not do it. This is an opportunity. A lot of people have been trying to figure out how they can get in line to have their COVID-19 vaccination. I have a very simple way. You go to www.liftcitychurch.org, you register for Rise and Return, and one of the Rise and Return things that you can register for is a COVID-19 vaccination. And you can come to the church on Saturday, April 3rd and be a part of that. So please spread the word to your family and friends who may be looking for other ways to get around and get this vaccine. This is a free way to do it, and they're in limited supply. So you want to sign up so that you can be a part of that COVID-19 vaccination. Okay? In addition to that, we are launching this summer our next level summer enrichment camp. It's going to be incredible. Man, it's not just your normal camp. It got to be amped up. We're going to be teaching your kids how to go to the next level. We're going to be enriching their lives, growing them, stretching them. So please go to the website and www.liftcitychurch.org again and check out the information about our summer enrichment camp. I believe that's it. The last announcement I'll get to right before I get here, go ahead and start giving you this word is please, we admonish you. Don't forget about your giving. Lift City, y'all have been doing awesome as it pertains to your giving and your sowing. But this is just a reminder. This place is good ground. We have so many amazing things that are happening here at the church. And one of those things is our Sight and Sound campaign, which is us asking 1,000 people to give $100 towards the sight and sound of this house. It's an incredible campaign. We've been having a lot of fun doing it, and God has been showing out. So you do not want to miss this opportunity to get get in on this good ground. To teach you a little bit more about that, and then I'll get into the word, I want you to check this video out about our Sight and Sound campaign.
Hey, Derrick.
Hey,
What are you doing?
I'm looking at the screens.
Screens? You sure?
Yeah, the LED screens. You don't see it?
Okay. Woo! Jesus. Kirsten, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just looking at the new bathroom install.
The new bathroom install.
Yeah, you don't see the new towel and the new sinks? It looks amazing in here. You don't see it?
Kirsten. Okay, you tripping. I'ma just use the bathroom later. The people in this church are really going crazy. PT, you know you have people seeing stuff out there?
What, Ava?
PT, what are you doing back here?
Oh, I'm looking at the green room and all the employee offices.
No,
Why
you're
you
not.
laughing? Yeah, green room, listen. Green room right here, employee offices over there. Do you see it?
You okay, PT?
I'm fine, but I want to know, do you see it? Do you see the green room and the employee offices?
Green room, employee offices.
Now I want you to look a little closer. Just take a look that direction and look a little closer. Do you see it?
Okay. Green room, employee offices. Okay. Okay.
Do you see it?
Green room, employee offices.
Oh, so you see it now.
I see it.
What do you see?
To partner with us in our Sight and Sound campaign, visit liftcitychurch.org and click the button that says Give. Or you can text S&S to 337-227-9820.
Is that not exciting? Do you see it? If you see it, I need you to put a comment in the thread in all caps. I already see some people starting. Put, I see it. I see it. If you see the vision that God has for this ministry, I'm trying to tell you, when we're able to tell you all this testimony, we're going to run and shout around the church. So what you want to do is you want to give via one of the ways that are on your screen right now. So you can look at the lower part of your screen and there's some ways to give. I don't know if y'all hear that sound. We got some work going on here at the church. So if y'all hear some buzzing or some cutting, we're getting ready to come for people to come back here for the building to reopen. So we have workers all over this building. But I'm going to bypass that and I'm going to get into this word. God, thank you so much for the word that you have given me today. Thank you for this word will be edifying to the ears of people that hear it. Thank you that it will be jam-packed, but it will be full of information that changes and revolutionizes their lives, God. Thank you for the peace of God that is flooding wherever they are sitting right now to remind them that this word came just for them and that their Lift City Church family is here to remind them of who and whose they are, that they are overcomers, that they are mighty, that they are strong, that they can do anything, that if it was put in their life or allowed to come into their life, it is because God knew that they could handle it, and they have been given every tool and every ability and every capacity to conquer anything that the world might try to throw at them. Thank you for their strength and their abilities. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, cool. I want to talk to you today a little bit about servant leadership as it pertains to mentorship. These mentors have been talking very well about everything it means to be a great mentee, to be a great mentor. And these words have really been piercing my heart. And so what I will endeavor to do in this next 20-30 minutes is to take it a step further from what we've already been learning and really teach you how being a proper mentor or being a proper mentee is a lesson in servant leadership. Again, being a proper mentee is a lesson. Mentor is a lesson in servant leadership. Okay, why is it lesson in servant leadership? Because a lot of people often separate mentorship from leadership. Well, the reason why they're integrally tied is because if you're being mentored, you're being mentored to lead something. Let me help you with that. There's no point in being mentored if you're not being mentored for some sort of leadership position to lead something. It could be leading people. It could be leading change. It could be, that's one of our mottos here. That's things that we do. When people come to this church, we want them to do a few things. We want them to show up, get engaged, discover purpose, and lastly, lead change. So whether you're leading individuals or you're leading people or you're leading change in the world by introducing something new in the world, whenever I am in a mentorship process, I am in a mentorship process because I endeavor to become a leader in something. Here's the funny thing. In my opinion, just like every pastor should have a pastor, every leader should have a leader. Let me say that again. You should not be the end of the mentorship totem pole. You should always have someone mentoring you. Let me put that in the comments if you hear me. For the rest of my life, I should have a mentor. Let me say that again. For the rest of my life, I should have a mentor. Why do I say that? I don't care how much older you get. Sometimes in your older age, we can become stagnant. And that's something PT's always talking about. We can become stagnant in older ages and decide that we don't want to learn anything new. So sometimes, even in our older age, we have to find mentors who are younger than us that can stretch us in the new ways, because the minute you stop learning, you stop living. Let me say that again. The minute you stop learning, you stop living. The minute you become complacent, the minute you sit and decide that I know all I need to know, your brain stops stretching, your capacity stops expanding, and you stop living. So I'm going to stress to you that get in your mind, for the rest of your life, you need to have a mentor, which means even if I am a leader, for the rest of my life, I am operating in servant leadership. The rest of my life. There will never be a point in my life I get to the stature that I am no longer a servant and I'm just a leader. There's really not a point in my life that I'm just a leader and I'm not a servant. Back and forth. Or you know what I'm trying to say, the flip. I'm just a servant and not a leader. Even while I'm serving, I'm leading. Those two things in mentorship are extremely tied together. So what I'm going to do today is I am actually going to use something we developed here at Lift City Church, which is our leadership profile here in our manual. All of our leaders get this manual that talks about our language, what we stand for, how we operate, how we behave, all that stuff. But one of the pages in our leadership manual is our leadership profile. And I am going to use this. And for those who have this leadership profile, this is going to be a deepened refresher for you, but I'm going to use this as we go through for the general public as a marker for how you can be a great mentee or mentor in servant leadership. I'm about to knock them out. It's 6 points. So I advise you get your pen and paper, get yourself locked in, because we're about to go through point by point. Okay, cool? All right, cool. My first point. If I am going to enter into a mentor relationship or a mentee relationship, both entities need to understand this first point. 1, I am to remain Christ-centered. Let me say that again. Point number 1, I am to remain Christ-centered. The reason why everything must stem from here is because I believe it's Pastor Dwayne, right, who used to say, you have to, in order to stay right, you have to see right. Is that correct? Yeah. In order to stay right, you have to see right. If I do not see a thing correctly, I cannot stay in proper position as it pertains to that thing. So I have to put a bifocal lens of Christ-centered on this mentor-mentee relationship. Why is that? Because then it is no longer primarily about the other person. It is primarily about what God is requiring of the other person or of you in relationship to the other person. God has to be the end all be all. I'm going to talk about it from both sides. As a mentee, how it will help you to keep yourself Christ-centered is because when the flesh or the human part of your mentor comes out, you'll be able to dismiss the parts that don't necessarily line up with the Spirit of God, or things you didn't necessarily think feel good, or things you're not necessarily happy with, or you don't think it's perfect in the mentor-mentee relationship, you'll be able to sift past those things and remind yourself that if Christ told you to be in this relationship, then there is something you're meant to get from this person, and that nothing that they do is going to disqualify you from getting what Christ instructed you to get from them. It's not what they instructed you to get from them. If I'm a mentee and I have a mentor, and as a Christian, that means God told me to have this mentor, then it's not about what the mentor wants me to get from them primarily. It's about what God instructed me to get from them. It's because God told me to be in this relationship. So no matter how things happen, no matter how uncomfortable. You want to hear what I said again, Siri? I said, no matter how uncomfortable I feel about this, no matter how strange I feel about what I'm hearing from my mentor, I can sift through what isn't God and remind myself that God told me to be in this relationship, and there are things that I'm meant to have in this relationship. On the flip side, from a mentor perspective, when you keep it when you keep it Christ-centered, you can remain focused that your mentorship position is not about bringing them under your subjection, but bringing them under Christ's subjection. Let me slow down and say that. A lot of times as mentors, we get into situations and we think that we're building people up for our glory, for our praise. I'm pouring all this into you just so later on down the line, I can tell people that I did this. Don't you? I cannot stand a mentor who does that. You mentored somebody and the person blows up because of all that you poured into them, and your primary thing is you're walking around and telling people, I'm the one that mentored them, I'm the one that gave them this information. Your view is off. Your eye is askew, especially if you're a Christian. I didn't give this to you, and I didn't impart this mentorship opportunity to you so that I can get praise and glory. I did this so that you can grow in your purpose and ultimately give God the glory because you accomplished your purpose. So you want to remain Christ-centered in this mentee relationship so that you can always keep a view on how you are supposed to look at the other person in this relationship. Amen? That's number one. Number two, the first was I have to remain Christ-centered. Number two is I must communicate. Let me say this again. I must communicate. The worst thing you can do in a mentor or a mentee relationship is to be in a relationship and not actually communicate. And you will be surprised with how many relationships between mentors and mentees who say that they're in a mentorship opportunity actually works this way, where you don't actually communicate. Now, when I say communicate, we've talked about before, sometimes your mentor is a person that you don't even know. So when I say communicate, I'm not necessarily saying even communicate directly with the mentor. I'm saying communicate with God and with yourself about what it is you actually need and what it is you're actually feeling. The worst thing you can do is get into and I said a lot of worse things. I just realized I keep saying the worst thing you can do. Maybe it's a lot of worse things you can do. So just take them all. These are all bad things that can throw you off in a mentor-mentee relationship. But something that can throw you off is you getting into the relationship and you not being honest. Don't puff yourself up and pretend like you're something that you're not. Don't be unwilling to say when you're uncomfortable or when you need to grow or when you need time. I think about things like that. In my mentor, sometimes stuff was hard to stretch and grow. And every now and then I just had to say, hey, I hear what you're saying. I honor what you're telling me to do. I just need some time to sit with it. I'm going to obey you. I'm going to listen to what you're telling me, but I just need some time to sit with it. That was me being honest and me saying, hey, I'm not going to pretend like I'm in this magical fairy tale land where feelings and emotions and flesh don't come up. No, the minute I can call the thing out, I can look that thing in the face and I can speak to it and kill it. If you pretend like it's not there, you cannot call it out. That's why the Bible talks about, when he talks about a spirit, naming that spirit. I have to name it for what it is. I have to open my mouth and call it out. Hey, I'm feeling anxious about this. I'm feeling bothered about this. I'm feeling anger. Just because you acknowledge emotion doesn't mean you have to be controlled by it. I can be honest and lay myself bare with a mentor and let them know this is how I'm feeling. And that does not mean that I'm no longer in proper perspective of the relationship. Okay? So you need to communicate. You need to communicate how you feel. You need to communicate your expectations. You need to sit and let people know this is how I see this relationship going. And on the reverse side, you have to allow the mentor to communicate their expectations with you. I said this in the previous live on correction. You have to let them communicate their expectations with you, and you need to be malleable or adaptable to what those expectations are. Don't be so set in stone. Communicate does not mean that you're right. Just because you communicate does not mean that you have the right answer. So let me not confuse you. When I say communicate, you can say how you feel and still be wrong. But I would prefer that you say it so that we can work in this relationship on how you feel and how you see the world, rather than you just pretending like things don't exist. Okay? So, number one, you have to be Christ-centered. Number two, you have to be a communicator. Number three, you need to be a self-starter. And this is more for the mentee in the relationship. They've talked about this in other March mentorship, and I'm going to double tap on it again. You need to be the creator. You need to be the self-starter. You need to be looking for solutions and not always, or bringing solutions and not always just looking for answers. What do I mean by that? If you're in a mentor-mentee relationship and you have something that comes up, a challenge, a decision that you have to make. I have to make a decision, and I'm going to my mentor about this relationship. My expectation as a mentor, when you're telling me about this decision, is that you have at least done some work to establish options in the decision or establish some sort of decision-making opportunity. That's very hard. But what a lot of people do is you approach the mentor in the situation, and I do not like lazy mentees. Something has come up, you're challenged with something, and you've done no work to figure it out yourself. The first thing you do is you call the mentor and you go, hey, so the walls in my building need to get painted. I'm stressed out about the walls getting painted, but the painter that I got is not available tomorrow. What should I do? My first statement is going to be, did you try finding another painter? It may be that simple, but we do this thing where we rely on our mentors and our leaders, and we just decide that they're supposed to just answer everything for us, and I'm not supposed to do any work in this situation. You should be able to reach out to the mentor or the leader after you have at least done some basic thought process. Be a self-starter in the relationship. Don't come to the relationship and just expect for them to have all of the answers and answer everything you need. Here's why the main thing that's a problem with that. Just because someone is mentoring you doesn't mean that you are supposed to copy or mimic exactly how they did something. Let me be very clear. That does not mean that you don't model, that they're not a model for you, that you don't follow their instruction, that you don't follow their guidelines. But something about your business, something about your serving area, something about who you are as a person is going to be different than your mentor. And if you don't approach them at least having some thought about what it is that you think is best or what it is that you want to do in the relationship, and you don't approach them with something on that level, then what you will do is you will attempt to take the instruction that they've given and mimic it exactly in a different situation, and it will not produce the same results at all. When I think about my mentors, I'm not my mentor. One of my mentors is out of my Pastor Tim Bowman Jr. He and I are two different people. Yes, I model after him. I follow him. I use him as a framework. I follow his saying. I call him about everything under the sun sometimes. But I at least have to have some understanding that I am the one responsible for what I am leading. So no matter what he gives me, I'm going to listen to it. But I at least have to know who I am inside of it. I have to know when I can't do something the exact same way my mentor. Some of y'all, this is a prime example. I see this all the time. You ever had a mentor that's real strict? You had a mentor that came in, they can come in a room and they can go, hey, I said sit down, and they can be real hard and don't have no issues. Everybody loves them. I think about, I don't know why this show, P. Diddy used to have a show called The Assistant. It used to be a show hiring his assistant. It was about him hiring assistants for his life. And P. Diddy was just going off on those people, on those assistants. But everybody loved him because he was P. Diddy, and that worked for him. There's other mentors I know that worked for him. I have watched so many people work under somebody like that, and then you walk into a space and you go, I need these people to listen to me. So I'm going to do what my mentor did. And I'm going to tell these people. And I walk into a space and I go, everybody sit down. Y'all be quiet. And you start going off because you just mimicking your mentor. Ooh, your mentor said, take care of business. And you just going in there. And the whole room is looking at you like this. I think about, y'all seen the video where the girl walked off stage in the middle of the praise and worship set? The man was yelling at the praise and worship team. And that woman took the mic. She was like, Jose. He was screaming. She said, and walked off of the stage. The reason why is because you can't do everything that everybody else does. You can't assume that just because your mentor did exactly this way, that means you have to do it exactly this way. I have to come into this conversation as a creator, as a set marker. I have to set markers for what, at least having done some thought process about what it is that I am asking the mentor about, so that I am not lazy. Okay? Don't be lazy, mentees. That's the third point. Got 3 more for you. Not only do I have to set the parameters of this relationship, but the next thing that I have to do is I have to set the tone. This is for both the mentor and the mentee. We have to set the tone of what we want in a space. And when I set the tone of what I want in the space, I don't come out of that tone no matter what anybody else in the relationship does. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean that I get to come out of myself. Do you know how many people have done that, where you've done something, you've been in a relationship with your mentor and they say something you don't like, or they challenge you in the way you don't like, or they instruct you in something that you don't like, and you get so irritated and frustrated that you get beside yourself? Have you heard that term, beside yourself? That term, beside myself, it normally comes because what we have done is we take Holy Spirit off. I used to have somebody that used to say this. They used to say, I'm going to take my Holy Spirit cap off so that I can deal with you. What? I don't get the right to take my Holy Spirit hat off just because I don't like what's happening. I don't get the right, if I've come into a space and set the tone that I'm going to treat people this way, that I'm going to submit in this way, that I'm going to follow instructions in this mentor-mentee relationship, that I'm going to be stretched, that I'm going to grow, that I'm going to be obedient. I don't get to suddenly decide that in the middle of the dislike feeling that I have, that I get to just remove the hat of the tone that I said I was going to have and just put on a different tone. You being mentored by somebody or led by somebody, I don't care what they do. Somehow you end up cussing them out. You got a boss or a mentor or a leader or somebody that you serve, and somehow or another you end up talking disrespectful to them or going off on them. How? I don't care what's going on. Unless somebody is physically harmed, I do not understand or care how you ever get to the point in a mentor and mentee relationship that you are disrespecting your mentor. I can't happen. I set the tone. I've said this before. Dr. Mike said something to me that I love. That he said to a room, and it hit me, and I'll never forget it. He said, I can go back to every mentor I've ever had, and I can still go back to them to this day because I have a good relationship with them. I know firsthand that did not mean that everything in the relationship with all his mentors was great and perfect. He was talking about the tone he set in the relationship. It had nothing to do with the mentor and what they've done. The tone that I set in this relationship means I'm never going to get to the point where I'm going to disrespect you. It's never going to happen. You're not ever going to get me to that place, because when I manage to set the tone there for myself, then God honors me. God honors how I've decided I'm going to be. I don't care how you act. If God told me to be in this mentor and menteeship relationship, I'm going to approach the relationship like this, and I'm going to stay there no matter what. So I'm going to be the tone setter in this relationship. I hope y'all are listening. If y'all listening, I see the people in the thing. Know your lane in your season. Don't be afraid to admit your limitations. Be honest. I see these comments. Yes. Kim said you become codependent instead of empowered. Woo! That's so good. That goes back to what I said about being a self-starter / creator. You don't want to be codependent instead of empowered. You want to be empowered. Lastly, this is point number 5 and the final point that I'm going to make. I said 6, but it's actually 5. The final point that I'm going to be making in this mentorship-mentee relationship is not only do you need to see people the right way in terms of being Christ-centered, but you and your mentor both need to be mission-minded. Let me stress that again. Both you and your mentor need to be mission-minded. What do I mean by that? You need to have clearly outlined what the mission, the goal of your relationship is. I use the church mission statement as an example. The church, we exist to lift people into their next level relationship with Christ. Great. You need to know what is the goal of this relationship. You have to be clear on that. I think Pastor Tim brought this up when he was talking about his teaching, and I'm going to reiterate something he said from my perspective. Pastor Tim is my mentor, but he's also a very good friend of mine. And there came a point in our relationship where I had to purposely and intently put the mentorship above our friendship. That did not mean that we were not friends. That meant that the primary goal of our relationship was mentorship and not friendship. And that took a major switch, because for a prolonged period of time in the beginning of our relationship, he was still mentoring me, but the development of our friendship was outweighing the mentorship. And it came a point that that rubber met the road, and some things became uncomfortable in our relationship for me. And what saved me in the relationship is because I heard God say clear as day, the reason why you're having frustration in this relationship is because you have placed your friendship above your mentorship. You have to have clearly defined walls, boundaries, and categories. You can't let one outweigh the other, because I'm going to approach this conversation as a friend different than I'm going to approach it as a mentor. Those are two very different conversations. I saw somebody post this on Facebook the other day, and I don't understand how people don't understand this. I don't understand if your pastor, who is like a mentor with you, I don't understand how you ever get so comfortable with your pastor that you just talking to them like they're your best friend. There are people online, Lord, like, I'm going to use my mom as an example. This is going to sound disrespectful because I'm using her example, but I would never in my life. That would be like me posting a status or me standing on a stage and being like, man, I'm so happy. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so glad Tracy is here and that Tracy's in this church and Tracy going to teach that. Tracy's head would go spin. That head would start to spin around. And everybody would be confused Because how do you ever get to the point? Now that just happens to be my mother, but any leader, Dr. Mike, like literally this eye is twitching at the thought that I would get so comfortable with that. What's up, Mike? Are you crazy? How are you ever getting so comfortable in a mentor-mentee relationship that you forget what role is being defined when? The reason why some of you are not able to be good mentees now is because you have become too familiar with your mentor. Let me say that again. The reason why some of you are having a difficult to bad time being good mentees now is because you have become too familiar with your mentor. You have lost sight of the mission. You developed a great relationship with them and you have lost sight of what their mission was in your life. It was not to make you laugh. It was not to make you feel good. It was not to go out for coffee and talk about other people. You sitting at the table with your, I don't know how you sit at the table with your mentor, y'all gossiping about somebody else. What is the point of the relationship? Why are we at coffee and me and my mentor are talking bad about somebody else? We're not here in this relationship is not for us to gab and gossip. This relationship is for me to get what I need to get from you to advance my purpose in God to the next level in life. So don't you ever get so familiar. And let me be clear. I don't care if the mentor tries to place that relationship because mentors aren't perfect. There are some times that I'll go into mentor meetings and I've had people want to be mentors and the mentor is the person that is using you as a dumping place for their personal feelings about stuff. Cool. Sometimes God will allow you to be in that position where you are there to take the frustration or the talking of the mentor and not spread it, not do anything about it, not add to it, but just allow it to be a listening ear. But I'm not about to sit there and gossip back. I set the tone for this. I set the tone that I'm not going to come into this relationship and do anything outside of what I said that mission would be. Okay? So again, I'm going to reiterate these things. This is a jam-packed, maybe 30 minutes. I'm not going to be here long. Remain Christ-centered. Always. Remain a communicator. You have to communicate. You have to create. You have to be a self-starter. That was the third one. You have to be a tone setter. That was the fourth one. And the last one, you have to be mission-minded. Okay? You have to be mission-minded. I'm going to take questions. We got a little bit of time. If there are any questions or comments, I'm reading. Go ahead and put some questions. If you're having a difficult time with a mentor or mentee and you're trying to figure out how I need to handle this or what I need to do in this situation, go ahead and let us know in the comments. I'm going to read a few more of these comments. Nina Landis-Pitter said, PT would treat you the same though, because it would be your issue and not hers. Love that she's not moved by stuff like that. Although I do agree with you, we should not ever get that familiar. Absolutely. I love that. She's saying the mentor will let you, this as PT as a good mentor will let you know if you have an issue, this is your issue, not my issue. Okay? We don't have to share this. Okay? Anything else? I saw all these other comments on here, just going back up, seeing anything. Oh, they said Siri needs a word too. Yeah, you see how Siri spoke up. I had to tell Siri what the word says. Amen. Yeah, the minute you stop learning, you stop living. That was good. You keep remembering that. Anything else? Okay, I ain't gonna spend too long. I ain't gonna belabor the moment. I'm just looking for comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was a Power Pack Minute. I want Power Pack 20 minutes. I want you to go and leave this space and be the best mentee that you can be. Don't leave this space and remain the same. You want to go back and you want to listen to all of these messages that have been happening as part of the March Mentorship series. Because what's funny enough is I feel like all of the teachers have been bouncing around and kind of catering around the same issue, which is what exactly is supposed to happen. We are supposed to all kind of be on the same page so that you're walking away with a repetitive word that's getting down in your heart. It's not enough just to hear the word once and that be it. You have to let the word permeate and get down in your heart by listening to it over and over and over and over and over again. I do See, Kim asked a question when I glanced down. How do you solicit a mentor? That's funny because I actually thought about talking about this and wasn't going to, and you brought it out. Here's a very thing. One, you take whatever time that they can give you. Don't try in a mentorship situation right out the gate, if you're looking for a mentor, requesting a 60-minute meeting. Nobody wants to meet with you for 60 minutes, 9 times out of 10. Try to find a way that works for their schedule. Hey, can we grab a cup of coffee? Hey, can we grab lunch really quickly? Hey, can we meet for 5 minutes in a hallway? And you have your 5-minute pitch prepared. You want to reach out to those people, and you reach out to them via professional mediums. So DMing somebody is okay, but if I DM somebody, most likely it's attached to their Instagram, and if they're any sort of business or person, most of the time their Instagram, or if you go to their website, or even if the website of the company that they work for, it has some sort of email or something attached. I promise you get seen a lot quicker when you send, and a lot more on a high level when you send a message via professional means. Send them an email them, put an inquiry in on their website, have something to say. And here's the biggest thing I see people from mentorship all the time. This is one of the biggest things. Do not make them have to make a sacrifice to meet you. What do I mean by that? If you ask a mentor out for coffee, you better be prepared to pay for the coffee. If you invite a mentor or somebody you want to mentor you out to lunch and they got to pay for the lunch for the time they gave you, that's a problem. If they're now I understand if you're meeting with them in an office or somewhere nearby that doesn't have, again, that they don't have to sacrifice. But when looking for a mentor, please do not make the mentor have to sacrifice in order to meet with you. Pay for the coffee, pay for the lunch. That is an investment you're making for their time. Yes, you may not be able to pay a consultation fee to meet with them, but you surely don't need them to be paying something to meet with you. That's not the way this works. Pastor Derrick said, mentoring is essentially going alongside and asking questions of your mentor and then listening to their answers. Absolutely. Ain't no point in you asking a mentor questions if you're not going to listen to the answer. Okay? I hope that answered everybody's questions, thoughts, concerns. I hope that this has been good for you, that this has been a good message for you. Please don't forget to sow, to give if you are here. All the ways, he'll put them on the screen real fast. Make sure that you sow and you give before you head out of here. Please don't forget about our Rise and Return Week, particularly our Embrace the Space cleanup that's happening this Saturday, 8:30, and worship night that is this Sunday at 6 p.m. You want to go to www.liftcitychurch.org, liftcitychurch.org, and register for those events. Registration is free. There is no cost for the registration. There's no cap on who we're allowing to come per se, but we need to know that you're coming so that we can adequately prepare for you and have all of our COVID-19 restrictions met. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening on this March mentorship series, and I want you to enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Hey, what's going on, Lift City Church family? We are so excited to be talking to you. I'm Derrick. This is
Emerald. And I'm Kirsten.
And we are here to talk to you about our Easter weekend experience. What's it called?
Rise and Return.
Man, we are so excited about it. Kirsten, tell them why we're hyped.
We are so hyped. Hold up, I just felt this in my spirit. We going back to the church house.
Hey!
We going back to the church house. Okay, all right. Okay.
But it is time to get back to being committed to your house. It is time to rise and return to your place of worship. Our mission here at Lift City Church is to lift people into their next level relationship with Christ. And how do we do that, guys?
We love unconditionally, live generously, lead passionately, and live intentionally.
Let's tell you about what's going on during this Rise and Return week, because it's going to be an incredible week, starting with our neighborhood cleanup on Saturday, March 27th, called
It is called Embrace the Space, and we are actually partnering with our neighbors right across the street from Jay and Lionel Bear Memorial Golf Course, and we're really just getting together with them, teaming up to really uplift this area, and it's really just a time for us to come together and lift our community. So you guys want to make sure that you're present from there. I think the time is 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So
that's
make
Saturday
sure,
morning.
Yes.
Grab your Lift City Church paraphernalia. We'll have some t-shirts as well and some things that we can get you guys. And we want to go out in full force as a Lift City Church family to celebrate that neighborhood cleanup, clean up the area, and get it rocking.
Yeah.
Then the next day is Palm Sunday, and of course we'll have our Palm Sunday services. They'll still be virtual that morning, but that evening on Sunday, March 28th, we're going to have our very first Lift Night of Worship, and it's going to be amazing.
It's going down.
I'm hyped. I can't wait. Wait, don't forget, whoever brings the most people to the worship night can win something. What do they win?
They win.
Don't forget.
Drum roll. If you bring the most people to the worship night, we will personally give you and your friends a crawfish boil on Good Friday. That following Friday, we're going to be gifting that to you and your friends. After that, of course, by Wednesday, we have our Midweek LIFT. Pastor Tracy is teaching every Wednesday at noon, so you want to tune in that Wednesday. And then get ready for Saturday, which is, come on,
It's going
Saturday,
down.
April 3rd.
It's going down.
Y'all,
what we got going on?
it's going to be the Lift City Community Day. It's going to be so fun.
Community Day is
What are we going to have there? I know we're going to have food trucks. What else is going to be
We're
there?
going to have food trucks. We're going to have some awesome businesses and organizations there. Different people will be having things to sell. Some awesome local businesses from our community are going to be present and just sharing some different information for you all. It's going to be an awesome time. So you guys want to make sure you mark your calendar for Saturday, April 3rd. But you know what? I cannot forget the biggest part about this day. We are giving away so
Yes,
many
we're giving away
prizes.
so much stuff because this Community Day is the target to bring our community from Lift City Church and uplift them even more on this Rise and Return week.
So we ain't
so
gonna give it
good.
all away.
Yeah,
but
we
just,
ain't gonna give it all
You know, just to make sure you feel like you gotta invite somebody. We really would love for your friends and family to join us. So invite somebody, give them that Connect card that you're gonna get. You're actually gonna get that Connect card at the cleanup. So you wanna make sure you're handing those out to people and inviting people to come.
Absolutely. So this week is all tied together with this Rise and Return theme for one reason, because the next day on Sunday, April 4th is our Easter Sunday services. There will be 2 services on that Sunday. It'll be our first public services back open again at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. So look out for the registration for those 2 times. It is going to be incredible.
So wait.
And we want you to rise and return
Wait.
to it.
That means that they're coming back, like in the church.
They're coming in the church.
in the
Rise and
building.
return.
In the church.
That's what it means.
And rise,
the
so
building.
that means rise up out the bed and return to
the
this
church.
place.
Register.
You have to register to be here because we're still practicing social distancing.
You gotta
but we're
register.
having 2 services, so make sure you register when that link goes out.
Please register.
And guess when registration is open? Right now. So if you're seeing this video, that means you can go to liftcitychurch.org right now and register for what Easter Resurrection Sunday service you want to attend.
I just got excited.
I got excited as well. But it doesn't stop there because most people think that Rise and Return would just end with our Easter services. But we got a little tip off at the end because somebody told me that not only is it time for everyone to rise and return, but it's particularly time for the men of the church to rise and return. So on Monday, April 5th, we are having a men's NCAA championship game meetup kickback here at Lift City Church. We have done so much to let you know why you should be at our Rise and Return events, and we think you should be at every event that you can all week long. Because if we could give one sentence for why they need to be at every event and why they need to be here for Rise and Return.
Because it's going to be lit and you don't want to miss out.
Absolutely.
I know that's right.
I
And
mean,
look,
honestly.
we've been home for a whole year. Get up. Come on.
Rise and
Fellowship.
return.
And my reason is because you need community.
Yeah.
You need to
Oh,
be a
that's
part
good.
of your church family. You need to get back into this building because just like your dreams and goals and things at home may have seemed like they're on hold because you haven't been able to go outside, let Rise and Return Week be a conscious break for yourself to say, nah, I'm taking back and going after every purpose and plan God has for my life. And I'm signifying that by rising and returning back to the community of my ministry. We can't wait to see you.
just preached.
Rise and Return Week. We love you guys. Our Easter weekend experience. See you there. Woo!